more than 100,000 vehicles in North America for various safety defects. The largest of 6 separate recalls involves late models of the Ford Taurus, Lincoln MKS, and other sedans and crossovers. No injuries, accidents, or fires related to the defects have been reported.
All right, there's that and a whole lot more. Let's start out with this one story, if you will. This car emerged as the vehicle of the future, an electronic wonder. Yet now it may be the most dangerous car on the road. Add to that yet another recall. Mary Barra heading for another showdown. Pedal to the metal, welcoming the nationally syndicated master of everything that is automotive, the car coach. Lauren Fix joins us from New York. Lauren, good to hear from you again.
Thank you, Ed.
All right, let's get right to it. We got a lot to cover here. Mary Barra is going to be back in front of the folks asking a lot of questions, but now it's Delphi Automotive that is also going to be here, because now they're finally getting down to the people who actually manufactured the switches that went defective. So what do you think is going to come out of this hearing?
I think Delphi is going to defend themselves. I mean, the fact is, they did say this switch does not meet specifications, and Ray DiGiorgio, who was the engineer on the switch, said ship the ones that don't meet the specs. And so that's what they've been putting in since the early 2000s. And the bottom line is that we have manufactured parts that don't meet spec, and people have died. 13 deaths at least so far, and hundreds of accidents. And this is what led to this big nightmare. So Mary Barra will come back, let them know what she's doing. In addition, they're going to have the guy from Delphi, who's the CEO, and he's going to say, you know what? We're defending ourselves. We're here to show facts. Here's paperwork. We actually defended ourselves. And it doesn't look like Delphi was at fault. They built what they were told to build. If it was a concrete life preserver, they would have built it.
All right, now wait a minute. What you just said is interesting here. They built what they were told to build. So they're going to stand on the fact that we were given either incorrect, flawed information, flawed text, whatever it is, and that we simply gave it to you and you didn't bother to check it. Does that still mean that they're off the hook?
I think they might be off the hook, because what happened was, when you place an order for something and I tell you that you requested something that doesn't meet the standards that are required by the Department of Transportation or through the Society of Automotive Engineers, whatever it may be, and they said, no, this switch will be just fine. And we kind of recommend this switch because this variation is much safer. And they said, oh, just go ahead and ship those. That's on Ray DiGiorgio. And that's what the documentation shows. And this man has obviously been fired, but for years he covered it up, and for years he kept ordering the same part. And you know what? They just kept building that same part.
All right, here we go. Recall Central here on Pedal to the Metal every week. It seems we get a couple of new ones here. Let's start out with Ford. 6 recalls, 100,000 vehicles. Now it's the front axles that run to right wheels, and they may not have been properly installed during assembly. What is next? Can anybody get anything right at any of these manufacturers?
Well, obviously, when the people are involved, things can happen. But it sounds to me like the specifications weren't followed, and I think everyone's being super ultra careful these days. There's also a recall of 100,000 Hondas for those Tanaka airbags. I would rather, if I were a manufacturer, I'd say, you know what, let's recall it. Let's not take any risks. Let's bring all those specific cars in, because the fact is, you do not want to be the next GM. You do not want to be the next Toyota unintended acceleration. You don't want to be any of that. You want to just say, hey, listen, we're on the side of our consumers, and we want to make sure everybody's safe on the road. So you're seeing everyone being ultra careful, because the fines are unbelievable, and they do impact profits as well as stocks.
That's 12 million airbags, I think, by last count from Takata. That's 11 million vehicle recalls. The list is growing. Now it's 12 million, of course, thanks to the Honda recall here. When are we going to start seeing the legal action here? Because you've got to believe that Honda, Ford, all these people are going to start going after Takata and the other manufacturers.
Right. Now, Takata was mostly the Japanese manufacturers. Those airbags were built here in the U.S., but they were stored improperly in a warehouse that had moisture, which could obviously have that discharge unit react and go off. The worst part about the reaction of the airbag is the metal framing that holds it in could actually be shrapnel, and some people have been badly hurt. That will obviously lead to lawsuits. But let's be honest, you're not going to hear the results of those, because those are deals that you're going to see just like, you know, with Kenneth Feinberg and everybody else. Oh, no, we'll sign it out of court, give these people money, let them be on their way, let's keep it out of the press. And usually there's a hush involved in those contracts as well.
All right, let's get down to Tesla Motors right now. The shares of Tesla Motors are down. A terrible crash, a stolen Model S in Los Angeles that simply split apart. All right, there was a crash involved here. There was an impact involved. But what's the concern now over Tesla, because these batteries have caught fire before? This is no longer an isolated incident.
Absolutely. Now, there are two things that I look at this as Tesla, is they have a chance to really shine and say, hey, we are here, we are making a safe vehicle, or they can drop the ball. And it all depends what the next couple days brings us. This car was stolen on July 4th weekend from a dealer. So it was a car that had the titanium plate put underneath that was put in post the last fires. So this vehicle was stolen going 100 miles an hour, which many vehicles can do. Actually, probably every vehicle on the road, even a smart car can do that. Hit a Honda Civic and split into two. Now that was after hitting something obviously solid like a telephone pole. Half the car is fine, the half with the battery actually caught fire. So this is a real serious situation. If this is the final results of everybody's trying to sweep it under the rug, it's going to put a huge impact on Tesla, and they could go the way of Fisker. If they're smart, they're going to do something really wise and really break this down and let all of us know what happened, why it happened, and how they're fixing it. Because the fact is, anyone that owns a Tesla should have a bit of concern, and anyone that owns a stock that's there saying no matter what, we're going to stand behind Tesla, we don't care what they do. Well, you don't want to get hurt in that market because it's already an overinflated stock, and a lot of stock market experts have already said it's not a buy. So this is also to be noted that Tesla also had another accident on July 4th weekend. It hit the back of a Camry doing the regular speed limit. 2 children died. And there's been no mention of it on any of the national news networks. And because a Tesla hit a Camry, it's not the fault of the Camry. We don't know exactly what happened, but it's all been hush-hush, which I don't like, because when you start hiding things, there's reasons for it.
30 seconds in your opinion and the opinion of those in the automotive industry, is Tesla doing everything it can to make sure these vehicles are safe again, or are they just dragging their feet?
We haven't heard much other than their PR agency saying, we're going to investigate, we're going to get access to those vehicles, and we're going to let you know. To me, there's so many promises from Tesla that haven't come true. The battery switching, the low price vehicle, the fact they're going to sell these cars in China and the sales have not been there. And they also have a lawsuit going on in China. I think we may have to watch Tesla a little bit closer to see what their future holds.
We will indeed watch the future. We'll watch it here. And again, the future for everybody who wants to find out what the coach is saying. It's easy, it's very easy for the car coach, LaurenFix.com, and she joins us every week right here on MidPoint. Lauren, always a pleasure. Keep well in New York City. We'll talk to you next week. And please, let's see if we can get away with at least talking about something that doesn't include the recall word, okay? We'll try.
I will try.
All right, Lauren, thanks so much. Take care. All right, Lauren Fix, the car coach, LaurenFix.com. By the way, Tesla stock was down almost 3%, still selling at $223 a share. But still, Tesla has an awful lot to answer for because, quite frankly, these lithium-ion batteries are just not getting the job done, and they catch on fire, which is not good. What is good is we've got a little more to go right here on MidPoint on the Newsmax TV network, where every day we question everything.